I need you all to do me a favor. Can you please get out of your seat if you can? Can you take a step forward? Please take a step back. You may sit down. You know, one thing I learned from great presenters is that every great presentation moves the audience. I just wanted to make sure I accomplished that objective this evening. So, now a little bit about myself. My name is Raymond, but obviously I go by Rofy. I'm a senior in computer information science with a business minor, and I was a part of EPG Cohort 15 last summer. Today I've done my presentation, my Morgan Stanley summer. I'm working in a fintech company. So the quote, you see the quote on the screen. It says, "If you make a move, move towards something and away from and not away from something." So I just want to take you back to 2015. I say after over $500 in application fees, 10 college applications later, 0 acceptances, a year and a half in a community college later, I ended up in Berea College in 2017. This quote by Sal Okyere, who is a current Chief Information Officer and the head of Wealth Management Technology of Morgan Stanley, said this a couple of times when I get a chance to meet with him. The first time that I met with him was when he spoke to us as new summer analyst in the firm. And then the second time was when I set up a meeting with him together with some of my friends to talk to him about diversity and inclusion in the firm of Morgan Stanley. More of this will be unpacked later. But this quote definitely resonated with me in the sense that it sort of summarized my journey in America and my journey from back home in Ghana to get into Berea College. In terms of moving to something and not necessarily away from something else. And like I said, more of that will be unpacked as I go through the presentation, and I'll make sure to hit on that. So today, this is going to be the structure of my presentation. This search is going to walk you through how I went through the search for my internship opportunities, the struggles and the successes that I had. The internship is going to talk about the firm that I interned with, which you know is Morgan Stanley, and what really attracted me, what values did Morgan Stanley have that attracted me to them. The job is going to highlight what I did in my internship at Morgan Stanley. The cycle is going to connect my EPG abilities that I used during my summer of internship. And then finally, the future is going to talk about what next in my journey after EPG, after my summer internship, and after graduation from Berea College. So finding the perfect internship. So my last year I just decided to do EPG. And why did I decide to do this? I realized that I was not ready for a internship opportunity after three semesters here at Berea College. I saw EPG as sort of a preparation ground where I was going to be able to hone in on my skills, and more importantly, be able to pick up on certain soft skills like pitching business solutions to clients, which I might say I found very useful during my internship. You know, one thing that I realized was that I had a lot of friends in the computer science department who had worked in different companies the summer before. Most of them had worked in one financial institution or the other. One of them is Kenny Louison, who was also an EPG cohort member, and she worked with Bank of America as a software engineer. Alongside others, some friends of mine like Emmanuel Safa, who had also worked with Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley as well. So I realized a common theme here. Why were all these people working with financial institutions? You know, I was very curious. Then I chanced upon the term fintech. So what is fintech? Fintech basically means financial technology. And some of you might know some of these companies, Stash, Stripe, Acorns, like Robinhood. They all like fintech companies. And basically fintech is using technology innovations to compose and sort of solve business solutions or release business solutions in a much more simpler way. So I was like, okay, so what is fintech? And I wanted to know more about it. And so after talking to different people, and most especially my friends who had interned with some of these companies, and also to Dr. Guggenheim back then about exploring such opportunities, I realized that it was It was an emerging field, sort of in the investment banking sector, in the sense that these companies or these huge firms were sort of starting to apply fintech in their space. And so it was an interesting opportunity for me to explore that. And so I went on with that, and so decided to now sort of hone in and try to apply for internships. So I call this a pool of opportunities. And this is a snapshot of 12 random companies from my list last summer that I applied to. And most of these applications that I did were sort of online, and also sometimes in direct person when I went to conferences. Some of them are fintech, and some of them are just like banking firms who are using fintech. So this the proportion, and this basically just shows you sort of the big chunk is the size of representing the online applications that I did. These were applications that I did just not knowing anybody in the background. I didn't have any referrals or people in the company. And then the small chunk is the ones that I was able to sort of apply to after I had met and spoken to certain recruiters at conferences. And so I knew people that I was actually sending my applications to and whatnot. One thing I realized was that, through all these applications, there was a lot of rejections for me and stuff like that. But I kept on applying. Like I said, that was just 12 companies. And in total, I think I had about 30 applications to different companies, spanning from banks to tech companies to fintech companies as well. But all through that, one thing that kept me going was this quote by Robert Kiyosaki. And he talks about, and I paraphrase, that the size of your success is not really sort of dependent on the size of your, the size of your dream or how, the strength of your desire, but how you handle disappointments along the way. So, like I said, I was getting rejections. I felt really sort of inferior. I was wondering, like, was this even right for me, in the first place? And was I doing the right thing? Was I going to be able to do this? That sort of inferior. I started having a feeling of inferiority complex. Thank you. English. So I felt like I didn't belong and stuff like that. But then also I kept going on. So you might. So what did I do? What were the challenges I had? What were the changes I made? And what did I do different in terms of making more conscious goals towards my getting my final internship? This is a snapshot of the first email that I sent to my recruiter at Morgan Stanley after my very first interview at the firm. And I call this conscious effort because it's not just about really just talking to a recruiter and just trying to get a foot in the door, but it was actually about building a relationship with these people. This recruiter that I started talking to last year, she was really incredible and offered me a lot of support during my internship. She gave me recommendations as to what to do, in the city and stuff like that. And so I felt like I really sort of knew her. And this was all through, conscious effort throughout my applications, where I would just like email her to just check up on her and stuff like that. So that was one crucial thing that I realized that I wasn't doing. And so I realized that not having somebody in the back, sort of pushing the buttons for you can work against you. Just putting your application in the pool does not really sort of do much for you. So it's always, like I say, good to sort of know somebody that you're sending it to, or even somebody that can sort of advocate for you in that sense. So that was the changes that I made, and I realized that was very useful in being able to sort of secure my internship. So I think whatever I did with my recruiter worked because I got into Morgan Stanley. I was placed on Wall Street. Yes, I was literally on Wall Street, and I was excited because I felt it was just a good feeling, being able to actually be on that street. I went there for a little bit, but I was moved later. But still, that was a good feeling for me. So mainly I was in Morgan Stanley, and I was in technology, and also my department was wealth management. So I was working in Lower Manhattan in the financial district. You might ask, what really attracted me to Morgan Stanley? So Morgan Stanley calls it a code of conduct, or you might say the values of the firm. That really sort of pulled me in. The first one they have is doing the right thing, putting client first, leading with exceptional ideas, and then giving back. Me personally, giving back was a reason that I really wanted to go to Morgan Stanley. Because service has always formed part of a big chunk of my life. Right before moving to the States, starting my own nonprofit and all of that, service work is something that I really want to take further. And so I love to serve my community. And so, Morgan Stanley, being a very big investment bank, and actually setting aside a whole month, the month of June, and I call it Global Volunteer Month, where employees go to volunteer on the company's dime, sort of felt good for me. It was a really sort of attractive code of conduct or value to me. And so that really sort of pulled me in. And whenever anybody asks why Morgan Stanley, this was one thing that I was proud to talk about because they actually did it and I was able to participate in it. And I'm going to highlight more on that later. Sorry. Yeah, so let's build applications. So what was my role during Morgan Stanley? So I was an app developer. Like I said, I was in the wealth management sector. So I was building apps that financial advisors use. So the problem that was there was that there was a pertinent problem where financial advisors could not maintain bulk client accounts. And so my goal for my project for the summer with another intern was to sort of take this problem right from scratch because there was nothing that was going on with it. And so our teams, they told us to come up with a solution to this problem where financial advisors can be able to just sort of take care of bulk client activities and maintenance processes without having to go through every single one of them. For example, like say, certain accounts needed to be like moved down the tier, and so when they did that, they had to do that account after account. So our project was to be able to let them do that effortlessly. You know what? Do that easily. Yeah, without going through all of the pain. So that was what we worked on. So now my EPG connection. Obviously, there was a critical moment that I realized that there's an EPG ability that I'm actually applying here. The first one, obviously, for me was this is a shrug emoji, was navigating complexity and uncertainty. Just being in New York as a whole, as a big city, and a certain big investment firm was really big to me. And one thing I realized was that in big corporate firms, even doing such a small thing as installing an application can take like weeks. Because if you are used to like small nonprofit spaces, you can just do certain things on your own. And when I went there in the first couple of weeks, I couldn't even get the apps to actually write my code. And so, based on my EPG abilities, I came up with certain ideas and different tactics that I would use what I had to sort of write certain parts of my code. And started building up resources. That way, when things were installed for me, I was already like halfway or already into my work. Secondly, was recognizing opportunity. And this was a picture. This is a picture with some of my other interns. And the man on my right is Okyere, whose quote I introduced in the beginning. And this was one of the meetings that the meeting I was talking to him about diversity and inclusion in the firm. And so me and my friends sort of set up a meeting to sort of talk to them about, because one thing that I realized from all the sessions we had was that Morgan Stanley was always concerned about attracting minority talent, in black folks and all of that. And so we had some ideas. And so two of the things we shared with him was the firm actually making a conscious effort when they go to certain like black conferences and whatnot, to actually, for example, in the tagging, it's always Morgan Stanley. Nobody thinks technology when you say Morgan Stanley. It's always banking. And so, putting that tag there would actually make people attract people to the firm and stuff like that. The second thing we also spoke about was actually also taking charge of certain conferences like NSB, which is the National Society for Black Engineers. And the firm actually putting itself out there because that's where you're going to see a lot of minority students show up and stuff like that. The last one was to me was ethical values. Exploring values and ethical structure. Like I said, that was the shirts we had for the volunteering month. And so I was able to participate in 3 different volunteering opportunities. First one, I made a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Also, I was able to work on the peace wall, one of the very few ones in Harlem. And lastly, I was able to work with a nonprofit too. I was fixing computers for a nonprofit that ran an after-school program for little kids, learning different languages and stuff like that. Now, I learned a lot. I had a lot of insights, and I think I want to share that with you, especially some the upcoming cohort as well. So I call it Rofy spells. So the first one is low skill means high well. Over EPG, Dr. Hagbert got me watching Shark Tank. And so one of the things that Lori Grainer says, one of her quotes is that she believes that you hire character and train skill. One thing that Sal Okyere also hammered a lot was that if you had low skill, you better have a good character or high will, be having a willingness to learn. And so that was something that really resonated with me a lot, and I tied that back into all of that Shark Tank moments. The second one for me is seek multiple feedback constantly, and this goes back to the PDB, which is your personal board of directors. If you've done EPG, Dr. Hagbert hammers on that a lot. Make sure to constantly check back with your board of directors and talk to them, seek feedback, and as you go through your process. Finally, make lateral moves. So yeah, me going from going to a community college to coming to Berea College to doing EPG when even people felt like I should have done an internship. Then I didn't know I was making lateral moves, but I knew that I was still going towards something. I felt like EPG sort of gave me those soft skills that I needed, and I really used them. And so making lateral moves sort of ties it back into the quote. As in, if you make a move, go towards something and not away from something. It's okay not to go up, but to go sideways. It's one thing that I really picked up from this summer. And sometimes, just going sideways prepares you when finally you are ready to shoot up. Oh, my bad. So next in my shot. So what's the future looking like for me? One thing that I really realized that I never really give myself a lot of credit, but through my internship over this summer, I learned that to give myself more credit for the work that I did. I was always the type of person who would do the work, but then feel like, oh, it's fine, just push it away. Like I did nothing really big, even though when people saw it like that. And so I've realized that it's one thing that I really need to be doing. In terms of future goals after EPG, after my internship, after graduation from Berea, right now I'm just thinking about grad school applications and also full-time opportunities. Eventually, for very long-term goals, I want to start my own nonprofit. I want to do nonprofit work, but I want to start a nonprofit, a tech nonprofit that would help other nonprofits with tech problems. Yeah, so that's what I want to do long-term. But for now, maybe I might do grad school, or I might end up going back to New York. But thank you very much to everyone. Thank you to Dr. Hagbert, EPG Director, and to my Stokes for showing up. My other two people couldn't make it today. It's fine.
Question for observation. Of the last slide where you said you don't give yourself enough credit, and I agree because in EPG we were in the same team and we were working on this case study of City Gone Country.
Yeah, City Gone Country.
Oh my God. And I know, Rofy, you, even after when the program is finished, you still stuck with them and helped them with their social media growth, image and all that. And I remember I said, Rofy, I really admire that aspect of you, and you just didn't want to. You just kept it low. That one. Humble.
Go back to your slide with your the recruiter.
Just do it on the computer.
Oh, okay.
Good God. No, wait, all the way back.
Oh, all the way back.
Something very subtle.
You can put the arrows on the computer.
Oh, right there. So, what's the date?
September 20th, 2018.
So tell me about the relationships before that email.
The relationship before that email?
Yeah, because that's 9 days from now. For
Last year.
Oh, last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm asking you, yes, I'm asking you, tell me about the relationships for you before that date, because that's where you ended up. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's where I ended up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had a connection by September 20th. Last summer,
Yes, sir.
a year ago, for the summer, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So the reason I'm asking you is, in 9 days, cohort 15 better be in relationships. You get that? So I want to know, what did you do before this to be able to build that relationship? Because you're telling your colleagues,
Yes, sir.
Jack, right? What they should be doing this weekend.
So with Natasha, basically a Berea grad introduced me to her. So once the introduction was made, actually it wasn't. She just gave me her email. Her LinkedIn actually. So I got the conversion for MS's email email structure, and then I emailed her and said, hey, I'm using my friend as a reference because he also had her as a recruiter. So it's like, hey, I go to the same school with Emmanuel, and you work with her, and I'm also interested in potentially working at the firm. So I would like you to be my recruiter and help me along the way. So she was very excited about it, because
But my point being, you create a relationship either certainly before this period.
It was late August, yeah.
Okay, and that's what helped you get to the firm. Okay, we have students that are just trying to send emails to websites, right? Or application online, it's not working. That's working. And there are steps before that happens. And if people don't take the steps before that happens, that's not going to happen. That's what I want to bring on. That's the lesson. That's a really valuable point for your colleagues, okay? Okay? So you got to get after it. You got to get after it.
All right, we just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, and also to the presenters.